I'm a Harbaugh guy. So
I'm a Harbaugh guy as well.
Goes to San Diego, turns it around in 2 years. Goes to Stanford, they're 0-12, turns it around in 3 years. He goes to the 49ers, turns it around in 1 year.
Yeah.
He goes to Michigan. He's a bad mark at Ohio State from being in a playoff already.
Yep.
I've supported him. But we're in year 4. Okay, he's got to beat Notre Dame Saturday. Because then I'm up against the wall defending him. I'm like, okay, Colin.
Sure.
4 years, all his player, got an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first game with Harbaugh. I feel as a defender, Jimmy, you got to line up and beat that team.
I would agree with you. Now, I think that they can achieve everything that they need to this year, even with a loss Saturday night. So I wouldn't put myself firmly in the camp of they have to win this game because they can still go win the division. They could go to the playoff even if they lose this game, certainly. It's going to make it a lot tougher because I think that the discussion around it will be so intense via what you're talking about. The scrutiny will be so intense that it'll be tough to overcome for that team. I happen to think that they win Saturday night. I think that they're a better team than Notre Dame this year. I think it's close, but I think that they're a better team, and I think that this is his best chance. I mean, this is his best team that he's had at Michigan. A lot of people are talking about their offensive line, and yeah, that's certainly a little bit of a question mark, but I'm also a Harbaugh defender. Colin, here's the thing. This notion or narrative that he's somehow overrated or is underperforming at Michigan is false. It is false.
It's not only false, it is like, okay, what's your agenda saying that?
Correct.
Listen, in any line of work, look at you. So you are a great high school athlete, you get a college scholarship, and you succeed. You raise a great family. Now you're an excellent analyst. You've had success. My theory is like, if you keep succeeding in life, I'm going to give you a pass on a bump in year 3 of your newest job. Harbaugh's won everywhere. He overachieved as a player. He overachieved at San Diego, Stanford, the Niners.
Yeah.
Like, folks, he's a bad spot against Ohio State from being in the playoffs.
And I don't want people to get revisionist in their history like they just came out of the Schembechler era and everything was great before he got there. I mean, it was bordering on a dumpster fire.
It was.
At Michigan when he entered the fray there. And a lot of, heck, the guy you sit across from in the afternoons, Whitlock has got the Hoke ties from so that's why Whitlock defends him, Brady Hoke, and that's why he bashes Harbaugh, because the more he can bash Harbaugh, the better the Hoke era looks in hindsight.
Yeah, no kidding, Whitlock.
And that agenda is very clear and is very plain for everyone to see.
I don't have any agendas on this show.
I try not to. I try to call balls and strikes.
Thank you.
When Saban's...
That's me. Strike. Ball. That's me. Ball and strike guy.
That's you?
Yeah, I'm ball and strike guy.
Yeah, but you got a book.
I have a slight agenda with Sam Darnold, but I think I'm right on that one.
I was going to say, you got a slight agenda on Baker Mayfield as well.
No, I think I'm right on that one. We'll see. That'll be...
I mean, it remains to be seen. They both played pretty well in the preseason.
Oh, absolutely. Hey!
I hope that they have a lot of success, both of them.
Okay, so here's what's great about college football this year. And I used to bang on the Big Ten. Good Lord. Michigan's got the best defense. Wisconsin has the best offensive line. Ohio State has the best roster. Penn State has the best schedule and playmaking quarterback. And I think Iowa may have the most underrated player in the country, Nate Stanley, their quarterback.
And you forgot Michigan State has the most experience.
Oh, they have a grumpy coach. Out. You can't win a national title. You can't win a national title with a coach that grumpy.
Nick Saban's more grumpy than Mark D'Antonio. In fact, he groomed Mark D'Antonio. They coached together.
Yeah, Nick Saban can also be hysterically funny at press conferences. Nick Saban's funny.
I mean, only when he's demeaning the press. I mean, then we all laugh and like, look at he's demeaning that guy in the front row.
Find me the last grumpy coach that won a national championship.
Nick Saban last year. What are you talking about? Find me the last. Nick Saban's grumpy.
I don't think he's grumpy. I think he has 1,000 times the personality of Belichick. I think Nick Saban's a riot. I think when he goes to the podium. When Nick Saban goes to the podium.
You're hilarious.
Nick Saban is a notorious grumpy.
Exactly.
He's not grumpy. By the way, when Nick Saban goes to the podium like 3 times a year, right? And he goes on these rants. You guys do realize those are funny. Those are funny.
Some of them are funny, but they're coming.
Sam, go get me.
You're taking them as funny. He's not meaning that. He's like, today I'm going to be funny. No. He's going in there like, That's his mindset going into some of those press conferences. You're like, this is hilarious. It's only hilarious because he's demeaning the guy in the front row.
God. Sam, go get a couple of these Nick Saban crazy rants. I think Nick goes into those things in his mind. Nick knows, I'm going to do a little theater here.
What a tangent.
To get my point across.
What a tangent. We were talking about the Big Ten and the depth of the Big Ten. I would bring up Michigan State in that. You didn't want to because of their grumpy head coach. But let me go further with your analogy. Can you imagine right now the media hysteria that would be surrounding a conference that included Washington, Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, and Notre Dame? That would be the equivalent of what the Big Ten has right now. Right now. They've got 5 teams in the top 15. Probably should be higher than that.
I think Michigan's the most underrated team. Everybody's
totally
got
agree.
them at 15, 14. I'm like, timeout. They probably have next to Clemson the best defense in the country.
I would rank those 5 teams in the top 12, personally, with the least of them being Penn State at 12. I would have Michigan State right at 9. Then I would have Michigan at 8. I would have Ohio State right up there in the top 4 and Wisconsin in the top 5. So, I mean, this is a loaded conference.
This is such a great weekend. Washington plays Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn's schedule is too hard to make the national championship, but their talent, especially front 7 defensively, is good enough to play for a championship. That's a heavyweight fight.
Can I just bring up a little... just a nugget for everyone in college football to think about when you're watching Washington and Auburn on Saturday?
That's the second biggest game. Some would argue, actually, it's the best 2 teams colliding.
Probably, and I think it's the most meaningful game in week 1.
That's a great way to put it.
And here's why, is because I don't believe that Washington can make the playoff if they lose on Saturday. And you might be thinking to yourself, what are you talking about? They would still have Oregon and Stanford, but they could win. Joel, you're crazy. No. Hear me out. Auburn's likely not going to win their own division.
They're not.
And likely not going to win the SEC. They'll likely be a very clear third-place team in their conference this season with the quality of Georgia and Alabama going on in the SEC, which means even if Washington were to run the table after a loss to Auburn in this scenario, you would have them being defeated by this third-place team in the SEC, and Georgia and Alabama might be in a position to get in.
Oh, by the way.
Well, you could clearly state the case that those 2 teams would deserve inclusion based on this best metric over Washington. So I'm just telling you right now, college football fan, this is the most meaningful game in week 1 because the entire season depends on it for Washington. And it's a very, very clear to see that in my mind. They will not be able to overcome a loss to Auburn.
All right. Have we got the Saban clip yet? Okay. We don't have one yet? Well, I got hockey scores out here. You can't get me a Saban clip? Okay. All right, let's go. You do this every week.
Yes.
So this
I've
is
got
my...
a couple.
Joy, if you've never been on the show...
This is the best part, Joy.
This is the best part. Joy, Mr. Courage, he gives us...
You know, I've got 2 real upsets this week.
Okay.
Actual upsets.
Joel Klatt's almost upset of the week. This week, we're getting real upsets.
Real ones.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Give me some music. Give me a drum roll. Give me something. Here we go.
I've got Washington over Auburn in the most meaningful game in week 1. I think the Huskies beat Auburn. Auburn's favored in that game.
What timeout? That's not an upset. What's the point spread?
3.
The 3 is I tripped over an end line. That's not an upset.
What do you want me to start talking about that I think Oregon State's going to be within 42 of Ohio State? That's not very fun. I'm going with the upset Washington over Auburn.
That is an upset?
That's
like
it is.
You're like making Colin malfunction.
Yeah, this is like he's short-circuiting over here, like the hairdryer hitting the bathtub. What is wrong with you?
That is the flimsiest, weakest.
Oh, spoken like the guy from Seattle.
That's not even an upset. Washington's ranked in the latest AP poll. Washington's ahead of Auburn.
And they're a dog.
From Vinny the Chin in Vegas.
Oh, you quote Vegas all the time when it serves your needs.
Okay, that's your big upset. What's your next one? Clemson beats Alabama in the national title game?
I think Michigan beats Notre Dame.
That's not an upset.
It is an upset.
Those aren't upsets.
Am I taking crazy pills? What is happening right now?
Well, the graphic says almost upset alert.
So, time out. You're picking Washington and Michigan to
I am.
win this weekend.
Do you want me to sit here and talk about Oregon State and Ohio State?
What? You got the Warriors winning the title in the NBA?
What is that spread? 38?
Got Philadelphia
a game that has a spread of 38?
Got the Eagles making the playoffs this year? Oh, what a gambler. Well, those are flimsy.
You're unbelievable.
God.
Unbelievable.
I was so excited. You're like, I got two.
I do. I have two legitimate, actual upsets. Michigan over Notre Dame, Washington over Auburn.
Last year, you were coming on this show going, Panera Bread beats Ohio State, and we were celebrating it. Now you're picking Chris Peterson, the second best coach in the sport, and Harbaugh, the third to win.
Joel, I'm usually on your side, but Colin really sold that, and I got to go with Colin on this
Unbelievable.
one.
Unbelievable.
All right, Joe.
Watch it. Listen, a game I'm calling.
Which one are you calling?
FAU, Oklahoma.
It'll be 72-40.
I disagree. I'm just saying.
Okay. Joel Klatt. Oh, coming
Was
up.
that good enough for you, Colin?
You didn't call it. You didn't have the courage to go on that one.
Well, I'm calling the game.
All right. Just try to upgrade next week.
Unbelievable.
It's still
Guy writes
preseason
a
for
book,
you.
and this is how he behaves. Got a book. Klatt can't pick an upset.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.